We were learning today, and this is going to become a huge national story. I was getting briefed today on the fact that Henry Waxman, remember I mentioned earlier, Henry got very angry because AT&T and these other companies all said that Obamacare was really expensive and it was going to cost them like $1 billion write-down. And so and he said he was going to hold hearings, remember a couple weeks ago? And then they got the documents. You notice the talk about a hearing disappeared? Well, the Republicans, led by Joe Barton, on the Energy and Commerce Committee, got the same documents. And what I learned this morning was the reason they didn't hold the hearings is it's much worse. In fact, if you look at the cost structure for the 4 companies that they got documents from, it would pay them to drop all of their health insurance, because they wrote the Obamacare bill to incentivize companies to dump all their employees, so that the employees would then say to the government, you must set up a government insurance plan because I can't afford to buy it myself. And it turns out, for example, they would save 75% of the current cost of their health insurance program. The government penalty is so tiny if you drop your health insurance that, in fact, it would be profitable. This is 2 + 2 = 4. You're the CEO of a company. You have a responsibility. You're sitting here, you're saying, let me get this straight. I employ enough people, I currently spend $7 billion on health insurance. But I can pay the government $2 billion and drop the insurance on everybody. And I will save $5 billion a year. Now, how many of you think that companies might be tempted? This is not being a good person or a bad person. This is a straightforward question of mathematics. The Obamacare plan sets up an absolute incentive for companies to drop their insurance at a time when the bill does not provide for tax deductibility for individuals. So in fact, you'd go from a tax deductible company-paid insurance to being put into the individual market, which is the most expensive market, with no deductibility. Now, if that isn't a deliberate plan for socialized medicine, I don't know what it is. And I want you to know, this is the first place I've said this in public, because I literally only got briefed on it all during the day today. I had several phone calls and several emails briefing me on this. But I'm going to challenge Henry Waxman. Waxman ought to have the guts to hold the hearing that he's now afraid to hold, so the American people can understand how bad this bill is and how dangerous to their health insurance it is, so they can demand that their congressman repeal this bill this year before it causes them to lose their insurance.